remember when we all got stoked for TakeOver specials? Tomas, do you remember that?
I do.
Welcome back to the ZNT Wrestling Show, starring yours truly and faithless Tomas once again. And God darn, I wish, I wish this was a less aggravating show. But I mean,
tonight I'm masking my sadness.
You know what's amazing is I feel like I liked this show more than I'm like exuding right now, because the wrestling was good for the most part.
There was some excellent stuff on the show, but then there was some stuff on that show that kept rearing its ugly head to remind me that, no, this isn't the NXT I've been in love with for the past 7 years. This is Vince McMahon's brand new NXT 2.0. And how ironic is it that this is the first ever anything of NXT 2.0 that we've covered on the channel. I know we talked about it at the last TakeOver, when we realized Killer Cross Samoa Joe was going to be the end of that era. And we never really touched NXT 2.0 until tonight, because there really hasn't been a TakeOver.
Yep, and man, it feels like an eternity, because Killer Cross is no longer with the company altogether. Samoa Joe just disappeared after beating him at TakeOver 36.
He's
but
injured? That's still a mystery. There are people out there that don't believe he's injured.
You know what they say, evolution is a mystery. To say the very
least. It really is, and so is Samoa Joe.
Yep, and
Please
Triple H
back.
Triple H is probably turning over in his hospital bed right now. Please get well soon, my friend.
So this is NXT War Games concept. I'm surprised they kept. It's the yearly tradition that we look forward to every year. This is the first NXT TakeOver under the NXT 2.0 regime.
It wasn't even called
the first thing that bugged me.
It wasn't even
it
called.
It wasn't, no, but it's really the first TakeOver, though, because there were a couple of TV specials. There was Halloween Havoc, and other than that, this was the first one to be exclusive on Peacock, 2.0 wise.
Yep.
Right. The first thing I'm going to notice is that I'm genuinely curious to why NXT has not gone back on the road for these big shows, because WWE has been on the road since July, so I don't understand what's holding them back. Do they not think they can sell out an arena again? Because I beg to differ. I do think that this show was still hot enough to sell out a show.
Yeah, hot enough to sell out the San Jose State University Event Center, which has been the host to many a house show, which I have attended, and they're always super duper fun. But I mean, I'm looking forward to getting a chance to go to an NXT show again. I just don't know when that's going to be.
Oh, I mean, yeah, first of all, WWE needs to get back on the road with it. And I'm saying, okay, I'm going to be blunt right now. I'm not a fan of NXT 2.0.
No.
But that doesn't mean I wouldn't go if it was in the area.
But who is
check it out?
Why does there need to be an NXT 2.0? This is such a pointless rebranding. Like, unless they feel like, NXT needed like a fresh coat of paint and they thought the black and gold was getting stale, which I beg to differ.
To sum it up in a short narrative, Vince McMahon basically blames the direction of NXT for why they lost to AEW in the Wednesday Night War. So him and his good buddy, the Evil Khan, Nick Khan, got together and said, you know what, we're going to release 75% of the roster. We're going to rebrand the whole entire thing. We're going to change the logo. We're going to change the arena. We're going to change the theme song. We're going to change everything that you know about NXT. And the biggest thing that's just a big fucking kick in the nuts this day is that they're going to change the way they bring in talent. And basically what Nick Khan said is, we are not going to rely on indie talent anymore, and they're going to focus on homegrown talent. So you know what that means by Vince McMahon standards? He's going to grab a bunch of models, a bunch of football players, and a bunch of pretty people that have never wrestled a day in their life. He's going to throw them in the Performance Center, and just because they look good, they're going to be the new faces of NXT. And let me tell you, the past 3 months since they've been doing this, it's shown. I don't know who the hell any of these people are. They're a bunch of gimmicks. I did a little research on a few of them, and nope, not a single one of them have any sort of professional wrestling background.
No, not a single iota of it. So
they're models, they're football players, they're Some of them do have collegiate wrestling, like the Creed brothers from from the Diamond Mine, but no pro wrestling, and that's totally different. So that's what's aggravating me. So all this talent right now that's out for the signing, the Jay Lethals, the Dalton Castles, all these people from Ring of Honor that unfortunately lost their job. WWE's not even going to take a look at them.
Which is egregious. So egregious.
Vince and Nick believe that you shouldn't sign professional wrestlers to your professional wrestling company.
Makes no sense. Again, Triple H is probably turning over in his hospital bed listening to this rant right now. But in any regard, very, very aggravating. But you know what? I feel like both War Games matches, for the most part, delivered, especially the main event, which we'll get to. But the first War Games match was for the women's division. It was Toxic Attraction and Dakota Kai going up against Raquel Gonzalez, Kaylee Ray, what's her face, Cora, Jade, and Io Shirai. I can't believe I forgot Io Shirai in that team. But oh my goodness, it was at least fun. I think I liked it. Thinking more and more about it, I feel like it's a little bit above last year's War Games match for the
quick little background for people who, if I don't blame you, are not following NXT 2.0. Toxic Attraction is made up of the new NXT Women's Champion, Mandy Rose, who has made her way back to NXT.
Good move.
The NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, Jacy Jayne and Gigi Dolan. And I'm going to say this right now, this is the best thing about NXT 2.0. They have crafted this faction to perfection. They rule over the women's division. Mandy Rose is a professional wrestler. And if anyone who disagrees, they are wrong. She is a professional wrestler, and I love this brand new look they have.
Mandy Rose has been doing this for a while, and now she's the figurehead of NXT right now on the women's side, which I think is fantastic because she has a whole slew of challengers and a lot of new matches she can have. Raquel Gonzalez, the match at Halloween Havoc was fine, nothing really to write home about, but I can't wait to see her mix it up with Io Shirai one-on-one. I can't wait to see Kaylee Ray get her shot.
And on the other side, it's really nice to see an established tag team holding those tag team titles. I know, what a concept. They defeated Gonzalez, and so it was originally supposed to be Raquel Gonzalez, Io Shirai, Zoe Stark, and Cora Jade on the team until Stark. I don't know if she's actually injured, but she got taken out of the match. A babyface Kaylee Ray came in and volunteered to be on the team. That kind of took me by surprise, but considering what her promos have been the past couple of months, saying that I came here to NXT and then they just tossed me to the side for 2.0, it's justified. And I think she's playing the role very well.
Yeah, absolutely. But Kaylee Ray does start the match with Dakota Kai, who we haven't even mentioned like a ton, and she's still lingering around and she's still feuding with Raquel. First thing I noticed was the very strange placement of the shark cages for War Games, because like the Capitol Wrestling Center is not very large. I don't know if anybody noticed this or not, but the War Games shark cages that we're used to, we see them on the stages usually in big giant arenas, but now they're in amongst the crowd and the bleachers, and it was very, very odd. And then when the shark cages were opened, they would run like around the back of the bleachers down the crowdway and then back into the cage. I'm like, that's so strange. Really
Again,
strange.
WWE, you really didn't think that you could sell out the Barclays Center for this show? Because I think they could have.
They absolutely could have.
It's very weird why they're not on the road right now. I get the rebranding, but come on.
I mean, Vince doesn't know money when he sees it anymore, apparently. But in any case, Dakota Kai was setting up this weird kendo stick bridge in between the rings, which I was like, someone's gone through that. The Chris Lash rule would dictate that it's going to be Dakota Kai, but I'm not sure if that's going to be the case or if it's going to come into play later. And sure enough, Dakota Kai went right through it. Kaylee Ray slammed her through. It was, it was decent enough wrestling to start off. But then
Dakota Kai also disappeared for a minute. Disappeared for a minute, came back to just a return, just to attack Raquel Gonzalez, and now she kind of has this new psycho gimmick, and I dig it. I'm sure, why not? Her hair's all frizzy now.
Her hair's all pink and frizzy, and it's really cool. But here's my problem with this match, though. The baby faces were the ones who had the advantage because Cora Jade was the first one released from the shark cages, and the crowd really didn't know, like, okay, we feel like these are the baby faces, but we like Toxic Attraction enough, and I was like, man, it really doesn't like compute who the baby faces are from this. Like, clearly they're trying to establish, Kaylee Ray, Cora Jade, and the whole group as the baby faces, but I didn't get that. Cora Jade was kind of jaw jacking with the crowd when they chanted "You can't skate" at her, which I thought was really funny. But
well, here's the thing. So they had 2 advantage ladder matches on NXT this past Tuesday, and the winners would get this advantage. Not Cora Jade, Kaylee Ray won the first one for the baby faces. And I just think that if you're just always going to give the advantage to the heels, then there's no point in having matches like that. And if you're always going to give the advantages to the heels, then both of the matches structures would have been exactly the same.
Right.
So I do think they were just trying to change it up a bit.
That's fair. I mean, I much prefer like the heels being the ones having the advantage just because it's a simpler story to tell. The baby faces are fighting out from underneath. It just feels neater to me. This match really...
I just think that's an unfortunate it's an unfortunate flaw if you're going to have 2 of these matches in one night.
Yeah, especially if the crowd is chanting "You can't skate" at Cora Jade, who comes off like a 90s female version of Darby Allin. I said it. NXT 2.0 marks. You can be mad at me all you want. Cora Jade is great, but she has a skateboard. All I can think of is Darby Allin right now. So there you go. The crowd is...
I like Cora Jade. She has a cool little gimmick. The best thing I can say about her is she's got spunk. She definitely has that Darby Allin, Jeff Hardy kind of babyface sympathy that I see what they're going for right now. And if WWE does it right, I think they could do something with Cora Jade. Again, if WWE does it right,
can you
which
really
is like calculus to them?
Can you really count on them to do it right, though?
No.
Exactly. Yeah. So
when you fuck up Keith Lee, I don't trust you to do anything anymore.
Another topic for another time, clearly. But the crowd is chanting, "We want Gigi." They get Gigi in a trash can. Gigi is the heel, let me remind everybody. Cora Jade is hit in the head with the trash can, quite sickeningly. There were way too many headshots on this show, I noticed. I was like, man, these guys are just not like... I mean, I get the brutality of war games and all that, but with concussions becoming more and more prevalent, I'm like, come on. Headshots.
Be careful.
Yes, please be careful and don't hurt yourself. And, thank God they released Nia Jax.
Especially when you have a few girls in this match that have never done a War Games. Jade, Dolan, Jane, JC Jane, who I'll get to in a minute. I have some very nice things to say about her.
Yeah.
And you have pros like Kaylee Ray and Io Shirai and Raquel Gonzalez that may know a little thing more about this kind of match.
Well, hell, even Mandy Rose has never done a War Games match. So... There you go.
She still has a lot more experience than,
right.
This new breed does.
Exactly. Speaking of the veterans...
Hey, you've never wrestled, you've never done pro wrestling a day before in your life. Just jump off of this cage.
Jump off of this cage, yeah.
We'll get more to that in the men's match.
I think that comes later. But Io Shirai comes in, speaking of veterans, with 2 steel chairs and 2 trash cans, and all I was thinking was, please do not jump off the top of a cage inside the trash can this time, Io. And thank God she
was gonna for a second.
Thank God she didn't. She had to have a lot of trust in all those girls to catch her. But in real fight form, that would make no sense for her to perform that move. Also, not only number one is it dangerous, but you just told the whole world why wrestling is a scripted sport. Io in a real fight would not be trusting those people to catch her. But
well, then again, Io Shirai jumped off of In Your House, and she expected Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley to catch her.
Well, yeah, but that was different.
And they did.
Imagine if she did that blindfolded. It would be ridiculous, right?
Both are terrifying.
At least she could see where she was going in her line of fire. War Games I found preposterous just because she literally blinded herself to do that move. That's the same reason why I hate Sir Kofi Kingston's trust fall, because I'm
that's a scary move too.
Yeah, it's a scary move, but in the context of a real fight, you wouldn't be trusting your opponents to do that.
Good point.
It makes no sense, but
good point.
So thank God Io Shirai did not, jump off the top with a trash can, point being. Nothing really happens. There's an awkward Hurricane Rana by Cora Jade in between the rings. Then JC Jane comes in next with a table, doesn't come into the fray until much later.
She gets the table, and I really liked Jacy Jane throughout my watching NXT these past few weeks, but I loved her even more when she was very excited to get that table and very excited to get into this match. Like, that's the kind of attitude I want to see.
Yeah, and so I was texting Tomas this, like, all I could think of looking at Jacy Jane was like, this is just Indy Hartwell's like shorter doppelganger, basically. And anybody
different costume skin.
Right. And anybody who's watching that might, not be able to unsee that at this point. You're welcome. But Io Shirai then hits Michael Cole's favorite move of all time, the Meteora, in between both corners with the trash can lid. And then this is the point where Cora Jade sentons off the top of the cage through Jacy Jane, through a table, and then she starts selling her shoulder. I legit thought she, like, dislocated it. I was like,
because that was not a pretty swanton.
It wasn't. I mean, we've seen Jeff Hardy do some not pretty sentons throughout his career for sure. But, I mean, this was like a haymaker off the top of the cage. And she landed.
It really was.
I don't want to say it was an awkward landing, but, like, it's not supposed to be a pretty.
Again, props to the selling, though, because I thought she was hurt as well, too. They tried to bring in the trainers to get her out of the match. Io Shirai said, no, I got this. I was scared she was going to turn heel for a second, but she grabs Jade's arm. Poor little Cora is like screaming for her life right now.
Yeah.
And Shirai says, just like, be brave. I know you can do this. And then she pops her shoulder back into place in the middle of the match. That's
literally popped her shoulder back into place. I mean, I've seen Malachi Black pop his finger back into place in the middle of the Royal Rumble, which was a disgusting spot in and of itself. But another competitor popping someone's shoulder back into place, that was straight out of Survivor Heroes versus Villains right there. That was so like crazy there to see that. But Raquel Gonzalez comes in with trash cans, chairs, and a Triple H special, also known as the shovel. Then the heels try to block her from entering the cage, but nothing a fire extinguisher can't fix, right? And then the heels scatter around the ring. She goes in and she's running roughshod. Braun Strowman's girlfriend then stuffs Dakota Kai in a trash can. What a fucking sentence right there. And Tomas is like, wait. And Tomas is like, Raquel Gonzalez and Braun Strowman are dating? Yeah, they definitely are. But
did not know that.
Yep.
Makes sense, though.
There you go.
That makes as much sense as Katie Cannizzaro and Ricochet dating.
Yep. There you go. But then, so Dakota Kai was like a contortionist. She fit pretty much her entire body in that trash can. It was a callback to Rhea Ripley trapping her in a locker during the Last Woman Standing match against Raquel Gonzalez, ironically enough.
That was great.
Freaking ouch. The stipulation is not great, which is something that we'll get to. But then here's Mandy Rose. War Games officially begins. She officially goes for Cora Jade, who I didn't even mention was in that opposite ring from all the Raquel Gonzalez chaos. Mandy Rose clears the ring, and then she spots Cora over there, and she's like, oh, I'm going to break that arm again.
Yeah, and I really like the vibe around this part. It's kind of like Kaylee Ray and Io Shirai. They were acting as big sisters. Kind of like, don't you dare fucking touch her. She's hurt. And was it Kaylee Ray that went after Mandy Rose at that point with the kendo stick?
It was.
Yeah, because she fought off Rose, and then they do the battle line spot. The
where battle lines have been drawn. The obligatory one.
Basically that spot right there. But Cora Jade is still sitting off in the corner, and I'm thinking back to Avengers: Age of Ultron. I'm expecting Kaylee Ray to go over to her and say like, "Hey, take this kendo stick. You need to go out there. The minute you step out there, you're an Avenger now. So get your ass up and start fighting, girl."
Or during Infinity War when Iron Man knights Peter Parker and he's like, "You're an Avenger now."
Basically
something like that.
So it's just like, Cora Jade, get your ass up. Here's a kendo stick. We're gonna have a fight.
But it ended up with Cora Jade being cornered 4-on-1, and then she is fighting all of them off with one arm and a kendo stick. Mandy Rose hits her patented knee, and Cora kicks out. It turns out there's a bunch of like bodies laying around everywhere. I think Raquel Gonzalez was hit with a move. And then somewhat out of nowhere, looking at it in hindsight, Cora Jade is looking at the chaos. She sees Jacy Jane laying in front of her. And Cora Jade pins her clean in the middle. And I was like,
actually, Raquel Gonzalez hit her power bomb
she
onto,
did.
yeah, she hit her power bomb. She got taken out. I forgot how she got taken out. But then Jade saw the opportunity, and was it Mandy Rose that got pinned? Or was it JC?
No,
Jade?
it was JC. It was JC. Mandy was held back by somebody else. But
yes.
You know,
also, Mandy Rose's selling in this match was excellent because when Cora Jade did kick out of the knee, like the look on her face was priceless.
Yes. Mandy Rose is such a pro, to say the very least. But, you know, and bonus points to this War Games match for the world champion not being pinned. This will be important for later, viewers. This will be very, very important. So, Cora Jade gets the Duke in a fun War Games match. I'm comfortable giving it 3.5. I've got my fair nitpicks with the match, but the gutsy showing from Cora Jade was the big story, and they went with it. It made her look like a star. I mean, I'm curious to see what they do with her next.
Look, I'm going to give NXT credit where credit is due. If you're trying to push a brand new star that the fans don't really know, I think this was a very good way of doing it.
Absolutely.
You know, Kaylee Ray, she's already established. Raquel Gonzalez, she's already established. Io Shirai is more than established. You know, if you're going to give someone the big pin, why not the girl that's only been here for a couple months?
Right, and War Games is a great way to do that. Remember, Raquel Gonzalez was the one who pinned Io Shirai last year in War Games, too, in the same stipulation. So
it worked perfectly.
It's an easy way to make an NXT star right there, similar to how the Royal Rumble match should theoretically make a star in the main roster, but, you know, that's not always the case. But in any case, fun opener, but... You know, I feel like it'll only get better by the end of this show, and then everything else is just kind of there. But including a bunch of new vignettes, Tomas, for a bunch of NXT 2.0 superstars. One vignette I would like to talk about with you was this MSK one. They are going full on with this stoner gimmick of MSK.
So MSK lost the tag team titles, what, like 4 or 5 weeks ago?
It's a fucking sin. It's a fucking
to my dismay, they lost them to Imperium, and I'm just like, why the fuck are they dropping them to Imperium? Nothing against Imperium, but
with no Walter. Where is Walter?
If you're gonna pass the titles off from MSK, I thought they would do it with a new tag team. But no, Imperium are the tag team champions, and the reason why they did this is that MSK have been on a road trip for the past month. They've been by foot, by bus, by car, all these crazy shenanigans. They might as well have been in a remake of Dude, Where's My Car? That's what it felt like.
Or hell, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, if you really want to go full
exactly.
on. So,
so MSK are looking for the shaman. It's the shaman of tag team wrestling. They're going to help. The shaman's going to help them get the tag team titles back. Who is the shaman? Nobody knows. They were going to reveal it last week. They didn't do it. I thought they were going to reveal it tonight. They didn't do it. They said the shaman will be on Tuesday. We all think it's Rob Van Dam.
Yeah, and if it's not Rob Van Dam, I will be perplexed. I mean, like the only other name...
If it's not Rob Van Dam, then who?
God, I was going to say John Morrison, but then I remembered Vince egregiously cut him, too, because he was the shaman of sexy. And, you know, he was, a tag team wrestling staple for a long, long time. So it would make sense for him to help MSK due to their impact. If they didn't
fire Morrison, I would have agreed with you. But they fired Morrison, so.
Yeah, so I feel like it's got to be Rob Van Dam. Like, it would be very, very weird if it was Rob Van Dam, though, just because they're revealing it on free TV and not on pay-per-view like tonight. But, you know, what the heck do I know? We're just a couple of wrestling nerds who like to talk about this and
also
absorb it.
They just inducted RVD in the Hall of Fame last year. So, I mean, this year. So, why would it not? Perfect timing. I feel like, it's like, don't they always go with that trend of, we're inducting the Hall of Fame. Hey, you want to stick around and do some stuff for a little bit? You know, Kurt Angle, Jeff Jarrett, Sting.
Do some stuff with him. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm totally on board for that. But, hey, on the topic of tag team wrestling, what do we got next?
Next up, speaking of Imperium, Imperium, Fabian Eichner, and Marcel Bartel will be defending their NXT tag team titles against Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner. Who is Von Wagner, you may ask? Von Wagner is a former football player that got signed to WWE that does not know what the fuck he's doing. He got put in an NXT title match on his first night, And ever since then, he has been trying to befriend Kyle O'Reilly. He gained O'Reilly's trust, and now they're a tag team.
So they walk out to
Christ.
the ring, and Tomas is texting me. He's like, "These dopes are gonna win the tag team titles, aren't they?" It's not a direct quote, viewers, but when I saw Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner walking out to brand new theme music together, like, bless Kyle O'Reilly's heart and his expiring contract, but all I could think was, fuck off with Von Wagner. Like,
this has been a very irritating storyline to watch, just because you have O'Reilly that, you know, was the biggest babyface ever at the beginning of the year in NXT, and they're not doing anything with him, and they're just the big ball and chain that is Von Wagner. Spoiler alert, everybody, I don't care what anybody says, Von Wagner is green as shit. I don't like him. And he's another one of those, oh, look at this big beefy football player I got. Let's put the title on him.
No, Von Wagner reminds me of Psycho Sid, and honestly, Psycho Sid was better than Von Wagner, which is saying a lot because Psycho Sid's matches were very bad. Like, go back and look at his WWF title reign in the mid-90s. Like, very bad matches. So,
and Vince really likes him because Von Wagner was on an episode of SmackDown a couple of weeks. He was Adam Pearce's security guard. So I feel like they're trying to get him to the main roster now. And it's not going to fucking work, Vince. I'm going to say that now.
Yep, he's going to walk out to fucking crickets when he comes out of the Royal Rumble match. So,
to our surprise, this was a really good match.
It really was. The smart fans in the crowd were cheering when Kyle O'Reilly was tagged in, and then Von Wagner gets hot tags. You could hear crickets in the Capitol Wrestling Center. Some people were smart enough to boo, but then most people were like, listen, if we react to this guy, he's going to get a monster push anyway. So I think we've learned our lesson. So, Tomas,
it's Cody Rhodes' School of Wrestling Psychology. It doesn't matter how much they're booing you. If you don't want to turn heel, don't turn heel.
That's the John Cena School of Wrestling Psychology.
Except for it works for Cena.
It's the tale as old as time, my friends. But a couple things.
Cody Rhodes.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'm sure we'll talk about him during Winter is Coming. But a couple things. Did you notice that Marcel Bartel's title was upside down when he walked to the ring?
Was it? I didn't notice.
It totally was. It reminded me of William Regal walking out with an upside down IC title back in the day. I was
maybe it was a tribute to him.
Wait a minute. Maybe. Who knows? But and also remember when Kyle O'Reilly was gonna win the NXT title, and then Triple H had to go deal with his health issues, and then Vince was like, "Fuck this guy! I'm gonna put him in a tag team with Von Wagner." Like,
Von Wagner. He's going to be the next WWE champion by the end of the year.
Oh, yeah.
Von Wagner versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania.
Oh, the most stupendous two-night WrestleMania in history. Yeah.
God. It's going to be headlined by Von Wagner.
Oh, yeah, I'm dreading that day so much. But he was like, I'll give the NXT credit where it's due. Whoever produced this match did not overexpose Von Wagner. Kyle O'Reilly and both members of Imperium both did the heavy lifting. Mainly Fabian Eichner, who is my freaking Italian hero right now. He was freaking awesome and out of this world in this match. He was flipping all over the place. This is a big dude, keep in mind, my friends. And he was doing Carlito Caribbean cool-esque flips off the top rope. This guy is awesome. So underrated.
He did a triple jump moonsault that would have made Sabu proud.
Yep. So good. It was picture perfect. It was like chef's kiss moonsault, cruiserweight-esque.
My favorite part of this match is that it could have ended like 6 different times.
It really could have. There were a lot of great near falls. Kyle O'Reilly and Fabian Eichner were beating 7 shades of shit out of each other, which I thought was magnificent. There was a very, very close 2 count when Kyle O'Reilly does the Red Dragon finisher with Von Wagner, and it made Triple H roll over in its hospital.
Fucking pissed me off. You're going to fire
so
Bobby Fish, but then you're just going to give O'Reilly another tag partner.
Yeah, and look where Bobby Fish is. He's putting over CM Punk and Cody Rhodes right now. So, I mean, where is the lie? Where is the lie?
You want to see Bobby Fish win, then you need to watch Dark Elevation.
Oh, starring the large performance, Paul White. So, but Fabian Eichner is soaring over the top rope. He's in freaking orbit to the outside of the ring. There is a very nice brain buster. He's blocking the armbar. And then Marcel gets tagged in. There is an Imperial bomb, and Marcel Bartel surprisingly pinned Kyle O'Reilly, which I was honestly, I was kind of happy to see that Von Wagner did not win a championship tonight. But
I was very surprised too, and happy. I was also very happy and surprised what happened afterward.
Yeah.
They were regrouping themselves, and I see Wagner get up, and I'm like, oh, fuck, he's going to turn on O'Reilly. Thank God O'Reilly sees it coming, and thank God he ducks the clothesline and then kicks Von Wagner right in the fucking head where he deserves.
Yep, he saw it coming. At least they're turning Von Wagner heel. So at least they're seeing that.
I'm glad. I'm so surprised, but I'm really glad they're going in this direction with both of these guys.
Yeah.
O'Reilly does not need to be in a tag team right now.
Mm-mm.
Wagner does not need to be weighing this guy down. So yeah, and O'Reilly even says, like, you didn't think I didn't see that coming? Come on, I literally just did Undisputed Era. Yeah. I literally just had my best friends turn on me. You really didn't think I was going to see you coming to turn on me?
Yeah, and Von's a monster that Kyle can slay on his way to the top if they really wanted to go the good route, but I don't trust them to do that. But so this match, I'm comfortable giving it 3 3/4. I mean, give them credit for an unpredictable result. Fantastic wrestling, especially from O'Reilly himself, as well as Fabian Eichner. But I have a bone to pick. God bless Wade Barrett's heart. I love the man to death. He is so fun to listen to on commentary and his insight. But he had the gall to call this match a technical masterpiece. He is using that very loosely.
Excellent. It was very technically excellent. I wouldn't be,
If Von Wagner is in it, I think the best he can do is borderline very good.
To be fair, I think he was giving a lot of that praise to Imperium.
Right. Yeah, I mean, they were out of this world.
Being honest, out of not counting the War Games matches, this was the best match of the night.
It was. It really was. But, like, it was not a match.
Oh, since we're on the subject of commentators, if you did not read online, they made it apparent on this pay-per-view. This is the last NXT broadcast Beth Phoenix will be doing. That is very sad to hear, but she said she's not leaving the company. She's just moving down to a smaller role so she can go home, spend time with her family. Beth Phoenix is the best female commentator WWE has ever had.
Yeah.
And it's honestly very sad to see her go. Gonna miss her voice on NXT every week.
Same. She brought so much fire and energy to the table, and it's, she will be greatly missed. But, family comes first, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Her husband
was a female commentator that was not forced the idea female commentator. She was a commentator.
She really was. And a former wrestler as well. So she had a lot of expertise.
Excellent color commentary.
Yeah. So, she excellent color commentator because she does not use the term masterpiece as loosely as Wade Barrett does. So
now let me ask you before we move on, do you want to see Beth Phoenix get replaced, or would you rather them stick with the two-man booth?
Two-man booth works way better. Two-man booth.
Joseph and Barrett are excellent, so I think they can easily carry that.
Yeah, easily. You do not need a third voice on commentary unless they really add something. God bless Corey Graves and Byron Saxton, but they do not really, they just bicker a lot. If it was just a Jimmy Smith and to say Corey Graves by himself, I feel like the commentary on Raw would be fine, but the 3-man booth on Raw, it's like, dude.
It's definitely, when you have a Graves and a Saxton, it's definitely, I like to call it the JBL and Cole effect. It's kind of like you have to have that bully color commentator against, the play-by-play guy that, it's the JBL and Cole effect. You could even say it's the JR and King effect, but here's the difference. JBL and Cole was more like a bullying thing. And then I like to say JR and the King was kind of like they were nagging spouses.
Yeah.
They loved each other, but they sure got into it when they got into it. We know that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to see where they go with that. Apparently Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner are wrestling inside a steel cage, which should limit Von Wagner's lack of ability even more. But
to be fair, I really like the explanation O'Reilly gave in the promo. He said, "This is the first time in 5 years I have not been in a War Games match. So keep the cage up. I want to wrestle in that cage on Tuesday."
Makes sense. Perfect. Great. absolutely keep that. But speaking of stipulation that somewhat makes sense, it's going to be Cameron Grimes going one-on-one with Duke Hudson in a hair versus hair match. Cameron Grimes walks out to his WrestleFlow theme song, and the crowd does chant "To the Moon" to it now, which I am so happy to hear. Here's an unpopular opinion about Duke Hudson. Tomas may not like me saying this. I like the poker gimmick. I like it. It's good.
It's unnecessary.
I'm a poker fan. I'm sorry.
And that's fine, but Hudson's an excellent heel, but it's like Vince feels like everyone in NXT needs a fucking gimmick.
Well, yeah, because he's stuck in a time warp right now. He wants to go back to the heyday of the new generation, which was oddly enough.
He wishes he could bring back Repo Man.
He wishes he could bring back Mabel and the Men on a Mission.
Oh, and the Knuckleballer.
Oh, yeah, he wishes he could bring back Duke the Dumpster Drosy. Yeah, you know. So,
I want to bring back Big Daddy V.
Oh, no.
You're going to be stern, listen.
No. That wasn't even a new generation gimmick, damn it. Okay, but
I just
anyway.
wanted to give credit to Deadlock. I was like referencing Deadlock any chance I get.
Shout out to
look at them fucking titties.
Shout out to Deadlock Podcast, their new wrestling promotion as well, headlined by Luther. So good on them.
Fucking
good on
love
them.
me some Deadlock.
Yeah, me too. Shout out to Deadlock. But hey, hell, I like the poker gimmick. And Duke Hudson does remind me of a young Wade Barrett, like just the way he carries himself and his look. He does remind me a lot of Wade Barrett, oddly enough. So
quick backstory on the build to this match. Basically, Hudson approached Cameron Grimes on the Halloween episode and says, "Hey, you still got that money?" And Grimes says, "Hell yeah, you want to play some poker?" They did this big poker segment on an episode of NXT where Grimes won the match. Hudson attacked Grimes, and Grimes cut a very good promo on NXT, basically saying, because Hudson cut his beard, he cut his hair, and said, like, you know what? I'm still standing here. I needed to cut my beard and my hair anyway. You're not going to be able to break me mentally. But at War Games, why don't we do hair versus hair? So I thought it was a very good story. And Grimes, I'm proud of that boy. He has really evolved into such a well-rounded character on NXT.
He's such an endearing baby face. I never thought I would say that out loud, like, especially since I was at, like, the last NXT house show I was at. Cameron Grimes, the heel, was going one-on-one with Lio Rush in one of the better matches on that card. And I vividly remember our buddy Chris Lash, who was sitting next to me that night. Cameron Grimes was making his entrance, and he was like, "He is so greasy. I hate it." Like, you know?
And now we all sing his theme song.
It. Yep, and now we all sing his theme song. And
remind me later to tell you a little story about a guy named Grimes.
He sat at home hurting, and he hated for the time, and he started playing.
It's a bop.
Yep.
It's a banger.
Josiah Williams. It's WrestleFlow. Like, how could it not be a bop? You know? So
I miss the Adam Cole theme song.
Yeah.
It's all about that boom. Adam Cole, baby.
There needs to be a Josiah Williams spin on the All About the Boom. But
oh hell yes.
Okay, so Duke Hudson is dominating to Dookie Dumpster chants, which I found very funny. The match is kind of slow to start off with. Cameron Grimes starts making his comeback with a nice tornado DDT. I love you, Vic, but I could not feel the energy that you were talking about the NXT universe having. Vic was like, "You can feel the energy," and I'm like, "This crowd is silent."
If anything, the crowd is always really behind Cameron Grimes. I thought these two, I think they played off of each other very well.
Yeah.
This is like the biggest match they've had for Hudson, and this is his first NXT TakeOver. Oh, if there's one thing I want to point out I didn't like about this show,
what's that?
I didn't like that they didn't utilize the alternating rings. I really like when they did the first match was in the first ring, the second match was in the second ring. For this one, it was in the first ring, just like the tag team title match, and then they reserved the second ring for the barber's chair.
Right. Yeah. No, but they switched the rings like to begin with. Also, like they used the second ring for the tag title match. Like
did they?
Yeah. They
did. Shit! I didn't even notice.
Yeah, they were always doing
good.
that.
I don't ever stop doing that. The alternating ring thing. It's a staple in WCW. I'm glad WWE kept it.
It's a good system. It's a good system,
Yeah,
for sure. But
you got 2 rings, use both of them.
Yep. So Duke Hudson eventually rolls up Cameron Grimes. He's using the ropes for leverage, and the referee catches him. Wade Barrett is livid that the referee is enforcing the rules. But if there's one thing that Duke Hudson is great at, because I'm assuming he does that, like, he's one of those people that, like, looks good in an airport. Yeah. And, like, he doesn't have much wrestling experience. But if there's one thing that he's good at, the facial expressions and his selling.
Oh yeah, I will say, I don't know really what Hudson's background is, but whatever it is, he's good. He's one of the better pickups from NXT, honestly. Totally. He's an excellent heel. He's got the facial things down. You want to punch him in the face. And is it just me, or is this guy's fucking thumbs huge?
I mean, he's a big dude to begin with.
He
like
kind of does a quasi RVD pose when he comes to the ring. And I'm just like, God damn, look at the size of those thumbs.
Right? You know, so he also does have a black hole slam as one of his signature moves, which I kind of marked for as a fan of Abyss growing up watching Impact. But yeah, he hits the black hole slam. There's a kick out. But then there is a big roll up by Cameron Grimes, and he has a big handful of tights, and he ends up getting the win there. The ref does not see Grimes grabbing the tights. I thought grabbing the tights was a little unnecessary, especially because Cameron Grimes was the babyface. So,
if anything, I felt like it was this whole rivalry is built off competition with the poker game. So it's kind of like, well, if Hudson's gonna cheat, I'm gonna cheat too. And you know what? Grimes is still a little slimy.
He is, but like if he's
still a little slimy,
he's the babyface too. Like, do you remember Edge versus Kurt Angle in that excellent hair versus hair match we talked about ages ago, Tomas?
Yes.
Edge rolled up Kurt Angle, and he did not need the tights. Edge was a little slimy, even like when he was a babyface. So, like, he was a little smarmy, you know, like pranking Kurt Angle all the time. But like, he didn't need to grab the tights. Cameron Grimes could have won with just a simple roll up. I don't know. It's just a nitpick.
Fair point.
But I mean,
the aftermath was pretty formulaic. It was basically, the heel doesn't want to get his haircut, tries to run away. He clotheslines Grimes. He tries to put Grimes in the chair, but Grimes reverses with the cave-in. He puts Grimes Grimes puts Hudson in the chair. He shaves part of his hair. Hudson runs away. Well, your hair's already cut. You're going to have to finish the job. 3 1/4. I thought it was a fair enough match. Nothing compared to what he did with LA Knight over the summer. But it was a good rub for Hudson.
I honestly found this very, very basic. I gave it 2.5, actually. I mean, Cameron Grimes certainly carried it, and Duke Hudson certainly has a long way to go before he's ready to be called up. But, I mean, I certainly see the potential. It's there. Like, his facial expressions are spot on, but the in-ring technique is still a little bit iffy. But Cameron Grimes certainly carried him to a decent enough match, and I'll give him credit where it's due for some clean cuts with the buzzers there and the clippers. Like, typically after hair versus hair matches, it's always a gigantic mess trying to get, like, Cameron Grimes had some pretty clean cuts. It was brief.
There's
but
sweat and blood and shaving cream and hair and spit all over the place. It's pretty gross.
Yeah, pretty darn gross. But I have a question for you, Tomas. How is this more embarrassing than being LA Knight's butler? Like,
I never understood how getting your head shaved bald was the ultimate humiliation in pro wrestling.
Unmasking, losing a championship, being forced to be somebody's butler for a few months.
Your hair will grow back.
Yeah, there's a lot of things more embarrassing than, like, losing this, unless it's in your genetics. Like, it wasn't Kurt's genetics that, you won't be able to grow this hair back. Like,
hell, even Big Show. I
embarrassing.
remember when they shaved his head bald, it's because he was balding, and it was like, fuck, might as well make an angle out of this.
And that's why Kurt had his head shaved too. Like, because unless it's in your genetics, your hair is gonna grow back. So it's not. It's not also
embarrassing. Since we're on this topic, talk all the shit in the world you want about Baron Corbin. He looks better bald. That guy has some shitty genetics when it comes to hair.
Yeah. Baron Corbin is, he's flashing all the shiny stuff right now as Happy Corbin. That was a bad attempt at a Mad Cat Moss joke, but working on it. But we do get some, before we talk about this next match, we do have some more vignettes with the grizzled young veterans somehow being credit card thieves right now. Like,
they basically distracted a guy while they took his phone, ordered a bunch of food on Uber Eats, and then they
Yeah.
took the food. Like, you assholes.
Yeah, we also see Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter going to a bunch of raves. So it's basically like the pro wrestling fans going to WrestleMania every year gimmick, except it's raves. Like,
And I noticed
makes no
the
sense.
other week when they wrestled, Vince is giving them an unnecessary gimmick. And I'm like, fuck off, Vince. Casey Catanzaro already had a gimmick. She's America's Ninja Warrior.
Oh, American Ninja Warrior. That's too boring. Let's have her go to a rave. And let's have her, yeah. And then, well, I mean, it's better than Draco Anthony having no gimmick in a restaurant.
He's just sitting in a diner just going, coming to NXT. Remember back when we would see Drew McIntyre in the audience?
Yeah.
You see Samoa Joe in the audience.
You would see Bobby Roode in the audience. You would see
Robert Roode. You would see Shinsuke Nakamura.
You would see hell, LA Knight appearing on the kickoff of Vengeance Day. Like,
but now we get whoever the fuck this guy is.
So many vignettes, except for people appearing in the crowd. But
so we want to get to that.
Anyway,
wait, was that no? That was after this next match.
It must have been.
In the most confusing match of the night, it's Joe Gacy challenging Roderick Strong for the NXT Cruiserweight title. Why is this confusing?
Excuse me, politically correct Joe Gacy, because that's his gimmick, son. Politically correct. He's woke.
So being PC automatically makes you a bad guy, apparently. So Gacy has introduced this gimmick where he's trying to be all-inclusive and the safe spaces, and apparently it garnered a lot of controversy in the beginning of NXT 2.0, which Vince liked because it was getting publicity onto the product. And good for Gacy. If his gimmick's getting over and it's getting like outside eyes on him, then good for him. When I heard that news, I'm like, you know what? If it's working for Gacy and it's working for his, product, then fuck, go all for it.
Yeah.
His thing is, and I actually found this angle a little intriguing. He thinks that the Cruiserweight division is being it's leaving people out, even though there's a ton of other titles he can go for. But he wants the one title he can't go for. Yeah, he wants the one title he can't go for.
Yeah, if you can't go for the Cruiserweight title, then fuck it. The North American title is sitting there. That's infinitely more prestigious. And
or the World Championship.
The World Champ.
But in order to make this gimmick, in order to make this work, it's like Vince forgot that he just made this brand new heel stable in the Diamond Mine, and he said, "Oh shit, we need to turn them babyface." Yeah. Because Roderick Strong was a heel, now he's a babyface going into this. And it was very confusing and very unnecessary.
And the crowd had no idea who to cheer for. And that was honestly this match's downfall. Even though the wrestling was fine, Roddy carried him to a fairly decent match overall. But the crowd...
Gacy is very athletic for a man his size.
He really is. I mean,
his finisher is a handspring discus clothesline. That's not easy to pull off.
No, give the man credit where it's due. I mean, he's half decent in the ring. So there was a very nice backbreaker contest. The crowd is chanting for Roddy to hug Joe Gacy in the early start of the match. I thought that was really funny. I don't know why, but
oh yeah. And my thing is like, if your thing is about being PC and all that, then Gacy, maybe you should promote some consent, because Strong did not want to hug you. You kept trying to hug him throughout the match.
Yep. But yeah, there's a Boston Crab by Roddy. Gacy is smiling while he's locked in the Boston Crab, which I thought was a strange way to sell it. And I'm like, this is part of his character. He likes the pain. Go ahead.
Hot take. It reminds me a lot of Bray Wyatt. And if he's taking some inspiration from Bray Wyatt, then more power to him.
Yeah, if only Bray Wyatt could give him some tips. Oh wait, no.
Yeah, it reminded me very much of Funhouse Bray Wyatt.
You miss him yet, Vince? Huh?
Yeah.
You miss him?
Don't try to replace him with Gacy, but if Gacy is taking inspiration, then all power to him. It's working.
I'm still so mad that I can't see the Fiend every week now. But yeah, like I said, the crowd, the match's downfall was ultimately the Diamond Mine were heels like not even a few weeks ago, and now the crowd is being told to cheer for them, and it's like, okay, where's the middle part of that? Or they actually did become the heroes in this? Was it just because they're facing someone who's politically correct? Like,
yeah, it was very, very ass backwards.
yeah.
I didn't mind the angle itself. It was just the execution.
Yeah.
If Kushida was still the Cruiserweight champion, this would have worked perfectly.
Yes. Yeah. And it probably, like, no disrespect to Roddy, but this probably would have been a much better match if it was Kushida across from Joe Gacy, because Kushida's actually a babyface. Roddy is not. Roddy's not a babyface. So even though I love
Don't
Roddy,
throw away all this work they put into the Diamond Mine.
yeah,
They're growing on me.
they really are. They really are. It's a great gimmick. It's like a gym.
Well, when you have the best damn manager in wrestling right now, Malcolm Bivens.
Malcolm
of course,
Bivens.
the gimmick is good.
Gotta love Malcolm Bivens. But
you know, not to get off topic, but the best thing he fucking said this month is that what's his face? Oh my god, that other guy that I really like that's big. Odyssey Jones. Odyssey Jones came out to challenge Roderick Strong for the title, and Malcolm Bivens goes, "You know what, Odyssey, all disrespect to you in the world, but your fat ass is too heavy to fight Roderick Strong."
Well, I mean,
like, holy shit!
I mean,
don't
like,
sugarcoat it.
You still want TV 14 to come back, viewers? You still?
Oh my god! Like, I should not have laughed at that, but the way Bivens just delivered that line was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, stay tuned for our retro pods, and you'll see why we don't want TV 14 to come back.
Oh my god!
Yeah, so the end of the match comes around. Joe Gacy hits a gut wrench powerbomb, actually better than Jake Hager ever hit a gut wrench powerbomb. There's a kick out, and then Roddy hits. It was better than Jake Hager. Don't.
It was. I was agreeing. Totally.
Yeah.
Agreeing.
So Roddy then hits the end of Heartache, and then kind of gets just a 3 count out of nowhere, clean as a whistle. And I'm like, that's a weird finish.
Before that, Gacy was on the outside, and he was getting cornered by Diamond Mine, and he gets in the face of oh my god, what's her name? Ivy
God,
now.
what's her?
Ivy now. I think that's what her name is.
Yeah.
I probably butchered her name.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you're thinking of the PC thing, it's kind of like, oh, well, if you're really all-inclusive Gacy, you know, you would get into a fight with her. Mm-hmm. And then his bodyguard, whose name I can't remember, I'm going to call him Parker Bordeaux.
Parker Bordeaux, yeah, that's his real name. But
yeah, that's not his name in NXT. I can't remember his name in NXT.
Did they even name him?
But they did.
I'm gonna look this up. It is, though. I'm gonna look this up real quick.
But Parker basically lifts up Ivy, and Gacy goes, no, put her down. Like, it's okay. Kind of like down, monster. And that's when he slips in the ring, hits the powerbomb. I thought Gacy was gonna win. And then Strong turns it into the end of Heartache, which was kind of sloppy, not gonna lie. And Strong retains.
Yep. By the way, Parker Boudreaux's ring name is Harland with Joe Gacy.
Harland, yes.
Yep, with Harland. So, I mean, you know, it's kind of like, you know, NXT 2.0's answer to MJF and Wardlow, it sounds like. You know, PC, outspoken, small guy and his muscle with the intimidating one word, 2-syllable name. Oh, so many parallels. Yeah, so many parallels.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but
never thought of that.
I mean, this
except MJF is just a less famous Miz.
Yeah, not right now. But I mean, 2 3/4 stars. It wasn't bad. Again, didn't have a lot of crowd heat because, again, I think you can say that Roddy turned a babyface, but there's not a middle part there where the babyface turn happened. So I'm gonna say they're both heels for right now. So it was fine.
2 3/4 for me as well.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk about this, or would you rather I talk about this?
Oh God. Ikemen Jiro you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. So the jacket thing. Why the hell was this on pay-per-view? Like
So Ikemen Jiro and Kushida are a tag team now. It's called Jacket Time. Yeah. And I was saying I was ready to bury it, but they can have a fun tag team as long as they're taken seriously. If they're challenging for the tag team titles, sure. If they're not losing every week and they're not jobbing every week, I can get down for this. So Jacket Time right now is okay with me.
Yeah. But then, like, it cuts to a vignette and Ikemen Jiro is showing off all his drip. And then he shows that he's got all this food delivered to his house, and then he's showing it off. There's big piece of my heart slices. There's like 3 gallons of ice cream. There's a big Slurpee. And like,
who the hell eats 3 gallons of ice cream, first of all?
I don't know. I really hope that this doesn't turn into like a gimmick where Ikemanjiro actually gains all this weight, because like,
is this a fetish thing? Because if it is, I'm going to throw up and turn off the TV.
This gimmick is like Simon Dean in reverse.
Is this like a mukbang thing? Because I'm sorry, that stuff honestly makes me physically sick.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to turn off NXT if they're seriously going to go up to Ikemanjiro and say, like, they're going to do mukbangs now. I will literally throw up.
Yeah. Literally him going into the bathroom during that vignette made me throw up. So, good Lord. Yeah, I didn't like it at all.
So he's eating all this food, and I'm not going to go into detail. Basically, he needs to use the restroom. I'm going to leave it at that. Pull the plug on it now, WWE. Please.
Right now.
Pull it.
Please. Pull the plug on it. But
Ikemanjiro, you can do far better with him.
Yes. Yeah. It's well, first step is to nix 205 Live, because that show is useless now because all the cruiserweights are on NXT anyway. So you could just have Ikemanjiro show up on NXT weekly, not with
again,
this gimmick.
jacket time is perfectly fine. Have them go for the tag team titles.
Yeah.
Please, for the love of God.
Something better than this, please. But yeah, speaking of something better, our main event of the night is the men's War Games match, where the ring announcer has to explain the rules again. In case you forgot from the opener, in case you forgot like 2 hours in between what the rules to War Games were, she had to explain them.
Man, this crowd has a bad case of short-term memory loss.
But yes, it is team black and gold with the champion Tommaso Ciampa with Goldie. You do have LA Knight, Pete Dunne, and Johnny Gargano bringing back Rebel Heart, which I was so happy to hear again. I was like, that's the best Johnny Gargano theme, bar none. But they're going up against Team 2.0 of Carmelo Hayes, Tony D'Angelo, Grayson Waller, and Bronson Steiner. This was,
What was that last thing? What was that last name you just said?
Bronson Steiner. That's who he is.
His name is Bron Breakker.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
His name is Bron Breakker.
I refuse, because that name is fucking stupid. So,
ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know what we're talking about, Rick Steiner of the famous Steiner brothers.
Yeah.
His son is in NXT now, and they gave him the name Bron Breakker.
Why?
This guy is the walking, spitting image. It's literally like they fused his dad and his uncle together, because he has the voice of Scott, he has the build of Rick, and he has the wrestling style of Rick. He's not bad in the ring. I'm going to give him that.
He really isn't. He is fucking excellent. Like, in this early stage of his career, his match with Tommaso at Halloween Havoc, I would honestly give 4 stars. It was fantastic. The ceiling is so high for this kid, but like, you slap a stupid name on him, like, I can't take him seriously,
And it's like WWE doesn't know if they want him to be a Steiner or not, because on the first episode of 2.0,
call him a Steiner, like, unless
Vic Joseph called him the dog face gremlin, and he got heat for that.
Yeah.
And then the other week on NXT, they're referencing Steiner math. And then this past Tuesday on NXT, Tommaso Ciampa calls him the big bad booty nephew.
Yeah. So why not just lean into that full on and call him like Bron Steiner or Bronson Steiner or Bronson Rex Steiner, which is his real name. Rex Steiner is the best name I've heard for him, but this is the name they chose. And I'm not going to.
Break.
No. Tomas can say it, but I refuse to, just because it's dumb. Like,
Break.
Dominic Dijakovic. All the Retribution names are better than this. That's saying
that's saying a lot.
Yeah, fuck this.
And just for those keeping score at home, Cameron Hayes is your current NXT North American champion.
He is. And
so basically,
Hayes is great. Can I just say that right now? Hayes is awesome. He's great in the ring. Put aside the Kurt Angle John Cena debut match aside, the parallels he had with Adam Cole, like, other than that, he's great. But you want to get depressed right now? Johnny Gargano came out with gear that was basically a fusion of all of his past TakeOver cosplays. I saw the Venom in there. I saw the Wolverine in there. But then that made me realize that fucking his contract is up. And he signed this special extension just to do War Games. And I don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, so when I heard the theme song, it made me very happy. It's the most I've marked out to. I saw Ciampa post on his Instagram earlier today saying, if this is the last time I'm going to be in the ring with you, I just want to say thank you. And it was a collage of DIY and all of the matches he had with Gargano. Mm-hmm. That made me happy. And then they recreated the Glorious Bombs with Pete Dunne on their social media.
So great.
And I had no idea what was going on. I didn't know until during the match that Gargano's contract was up. So that kind of made this match kind of melancholy for me.
Yeah, that's why
we'll see what happens.
I'm wearing the shirt right now in his honor. So it's like, if this is the last ride for Johnny Gargano, like, I feel like he went out with a huge bang, and it's like immeasurable what he did for this brand. Like, you know, building it up, like he was one of the pillars of NXT. So all the credit in the world to him. But like, I don't know what's going to be next for him. I really hope he doesn't leave just to go get buried by Cody, because I don't want that for his career. Like, he needs to be a champion wherever he goes, because he's just too damn good. Too damn good.
I'm going to have a very hot take right now, because I've been keeping my eye on other wrestling promotions. Mm-hmm. He would be better off going to Impact.
Oh, I didn't even think about that possibility.
Because here's the thing. I don't want to get too much on a tangent about this. AEW's kind of getting a little crowded.
Yeah.
They just signed Jay Lethal, and they jobbed him out in his first match.
You don't say.
Same with Tony Nese. Jonah, a.k.a. Bronson Reed, just made his debut in Impact, and they are building him properly because that's a smaller roster, and there's more room for him to grow there.
Yep, and he's going to be a fucking superstar over there.
He is. So if Gargano does go anywhere, I suggest New Japan. I suggest Impact. I really do.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, yeah, I'll support him wherever he goes, but it'll be unpredictable. We'll see what happens. But there are loud Johnny Wrestling chants as he starts with Carmelo Hayes, and then they start chanting Johnny War Games at him, which, believe it or not,
that's a new one.
This is his first War Games match, my friends, and he did turn out to be Mr. War Games, because he was freaking out of this world. He was catching a springing Mello with a big super kick, super nice opening sequence into a slingshot spear. They were throwing out all their greatest hits. It was so hard for me to like take notes during this match, because it was like 1,000 moves a minute.
It was wild.
Yeah.
It started off with Gargano and Hayes, right?
Mm-hmm. It sure did. And then Grayson Waller came in and kicked Johnny's head off. Green.
I actually have some nice things to say about these 2.0 guys. First of all, Hayes and Gargano had this excellent exchange in the middle of the ropes.
They really
did. Which Gargano tried to go for one final beat on the steel, and then it got reversed to just so smoothly Gargano going into that slingshot spear that he's famous for.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he sure does. And, you know, it's a great looking sequence. Grayson Waller comes in and hits that really, you know, rough kick that somehow does not end Johnny's career.
I like him. I like Grayson Waller.
He's got some work to do. Let's just leave it at that.
He does. But when he debuted, I was like, okay, this kid has a lot of charisma. He's a little annoying, but he's got mic skills. But when they turned him heel, I'm like, okay, they kind of got something with him.
Well, I mean, unless they're trying to make him the WWE equivalent of Logan Paul, where the goal is to make him annoy you. So, like, if
good point.
If that's the idea,
heel, good. Yeah. They took all the 2.0 guys and they realized, you know what? You're all as green as fuck, and the fans are not going to perceive you the way Vince wants you to. Let's turn them all heel. Mm-hmm. Waller's heel, Hayes is heel, Breaker is heel, which I agree with.
You mean Steiner?
Waller's heel.
Steiner?
No, I mean Breaker.
I mean that's a Steiner right there. I mean
Fuse Breaker.
I don't know
what you're talking. Fuse Breaker.
You're breaking. You're breaking my fuses right now, my friend, with that stupid-ass name. But, yeah, Waller and Hayes go for the patented DIY double kick on Gargano, but it misses. They are allowed black and gold chants as Pete Dunne makes his way into the cage, and he does something that I've never seen before. He does the finger breaking in the mesh of the cage wall. Fucking ouch. Fucking ouch. Yeah. There it is.
And I swear Dunne has like a fetish for this thing because he continues stomping the fingers on a chair and on a trash can and every single which way on the steel Hayes later on in the match.
He fucking broke the trash can on Hayes' fingers later on with sickening relish. Like, good Lord, literally. so gruesome. But Johnny Gargano had the Gargano escape, and Pete Dunne had the crippler crossface. And then as they had the, their respective submission holds, they were kicking their partner's victims in the face as hard as they could. Great. Again, never seen that before. Then Tony D'Angelo, the Italian mafia boss, comes out next. You want to talk about
you want to know what his gimmick is? You want to know what his gimmick is?
He was like an Italian, like the Italian guy, right?
I can tell you exactly what his gimmick is. His gimmick is,
what is it?
Hey, where's the freaking gabagoo?
Oh,
you motherfucker. I'm walking here.
No. Oh my
God. That's his gimmick.
That is such a stereotype, and I freaking hate it. Oh my God.
I want to know where the freaking gabagoo is.
But yeah, Tony D'Angelo goes into the cage, and then Trick Williams, who's been at ringside this whole time, he's pulling out some tables, and then something pretty important happens. Trick is pulled under the ring, and then he goes, like, he's scared off by something, and it's the goddamn creep farm who is hiding under the ring.
Dexter Lumis.
You want to talk about someone who should be a fucking heel? It's Dexter Lumis.
Well, if Gargano's gonna leave, someone's got to fill his shoes and stop baby face.
Well, I mean, no,
it's gonna be Lumis, his son-in-law.
No, he's taking son-in-law. No, he's taking Gargano's teenage daughter and marrying her. Like, it's harkening back to freaking Kane marrying Lita.
And then Gargano's son went to college, also known as Monday Night Raw.
Oh my. Oh, now there goes a blue chipper. But yeah, the creep farm was hiding under the ring, and then he gives the thumbs up to his father-in-law, as Tomas was saying. But yeah, so then he leaves. It's pretty much all evened up just to have a Dexter Lumis spot on the show somewhere. LA Knight comes down from the shark cage, and I didn't even mention that Tony D'Angelo had padlocked the cage from the inside. Dumb heels, because LA Knight could just very easily climb up the cage. And I'm like, why didn't he just climb up right away? Like,
okay, I disagreed with them turning him babyface a couple weeks ago, but after this performance tonight, holy shit, do I love it.
Yeah, I didn't think I would like him as much as a babyface as I do, but I mean, as long as they don't fuck it up like Bobby Roode's babyface turn when he was on Monday Night Raw, like, I'll be okay with it. But yeah, this is the point where Grayson Waller was smushed in the trash can. This is the point where Carmelo Hayes' fingers were smashed in the can. And then here comes Bronson Steiner barking his way down the bleachers, and there are loud... No, it's Bronson Steiner. But there were loud booty daddy chants. Like, again, Bronson Steiner is great in the early stages of his career. Like, for him to be on this level already, that's a great sign. I think that's a really great sign, and he's got a really high ceiling. Am I the only one?
Oh, yeah, and they did a good job of booking him in this match.
Yeah.
You know that?
Am I the only one who wants him and Pete Dunne to have a 30-minute classic? Like,
honestly, after Breaker's performance in this match, like, give him all the opponents. The opponents.
Mm-hmm.
They did a good job of booking him in this match in the beginning to being that unstoppable monster, because all three members of Team Black and Gold were up at this point, and Breaker was just throwing them around like it was nothing.
Yeah,
he did this excellent spot where he picked up Ciampa and just launched him onto Dunne and Gargano and absolutely knocked them over like they were bowling pins.
Yeah, no, it was great. Speaking of Ciampa, this is the point where he does enter the match, and he was on fire. And then he knocks all of Team 2.0 down, and he sits on the bottom of the trash can, does the applaud and the pat on the back, and the crowd does the applause with him. And I was like,
yes.
have I been missing something? Have I been missing something with the crowd clapping with him now? Have they been doing that all the time?
That doesn't surprise me. This is the NXT crowd we're talking about.
Freaking love that. Freaking love that. Daddy's home indeed with Goldie in his arms. It's so awesome. But it was at this point in the match where I was noticing Carmelo Hayes was looking pretty fresh against Ciampa. And he was the one who started with Johnny Gargano. This guy's endurance was ridiculous. Like, honestly, I could see him holding like an Iron Man spot in the Royal Rumble one year. Like, he could.
Oh, yeah. He may not be John Cena, but maybe they found something else in this kid.
He can go. Carmelo Hayes can go.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of his.
Oh, yeah.
I like how they made him the North American champion already. So
he's one of the better picks by NXT.
My apologies. 2 thumbs up there. But then it was at this point where I saw pure poetry in Johnny Gargano saving Tommaso Ciampa with the crutch, the patented crutch that Tommaso Ciampa hit Johnny Gargano with so many times.
When did this feud start? In 2017 or 2016?
Yep. 2017.
2017?
It was the first TakeOver Chicago when they main evented with AOP at that ladder match.
Years later. And they are still finding a way to bring this feud full circle. And that is absolutely amazing.
Fantastic teamwork from the former DIY. Gargano launches Carmelo face first into the bottom of a trash can, which was wedged in between the ropes, which looked sick. And then Grayson...
Hayes has some excellent selling, because right before Gargano does the lawn dart to him with that, you just see Hayes' face go, no, don't do it.
Yes, it was so great. And then Grayson Waller was launched through a table by LA Knight. Holy shit, indeed. I agree with all of these fans. This was the match of the night for me. Easy. But then it was at that point where Knight hit a BFT on Hayes. What does BFT stand for? Do you know?
I think it's a take on NFT, but the B is for billionaire. I think.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
I still miss the gravy train, but the BFT I can live with.
Yeah, for sure. Tommaso Ciampa hits a white noise on Bronson Steiner through the trash can, which was laying, and it was all like jagged already. I mean, credit to Bronson Steiner, because he took that like right on the back and like it was poking him there, and there was a close kick out also. I thought that would have been it there. But yeah, it was at this point Grayson Waller elbow drops LA Knight through the table off the top of the cage, and it absolutely makes a horrendous sound. The table disintegrates all the way down to the floor as if an earthquake hit the building.
Where I gave Waller a little credit for jumping off the cage like that.
Yeah. The kid's got some balls, clearly. So, like, I would not want to jump off of a cage like that. So, I mean, credit where it's due for him, taking the leap, literally. So, Pete Dunne, again, punishing Carmelo Hayes, but then Tony D'Angelo, I hide a crowbar in between the cage, and then I pull it out, and then I take the Pete Dunne mouthpiece.
That's where he was also hiding the gabagoo down there.
I hope we talk more. I hope we get to talk more about Tony. Stop it. Oh, it's so bad. But in any case, Bronson hits a Frankensteiner pretty beautifully, might I add. But then on cue...
And they call it the Frankensteiner.
They do.
To our point even more.
Yep. Can you bank on that now, WWE? Please?
Breaker was looking great.
Yeah, I mean, you're really breaking my balls here, man. You're breaking my balls. But yeah, and then right on cue, one final beat and Willow's Bell are hit at the same time on some of these 2.0 dweebs. And then DIY hits that stereo kick to Steiner, and then Carmelo Hayes stops the pinfall, pulling the ref, low blows and thumbs to the eye. Ciampa's going for the fairy tale ending, and then Steiner spears Ciampa through the table. And then Steiner pinned the NXT champion. I rolled my eyes at this finish. I rolled my eyes.
Power slam.
Yep.
It was sad. It made me sad. Before we get into the negatives, let me talk about the positives. This match had that NXT TakeOver main event feel that I've been missing for the past couple of years.
It was a thrill ride.
This match was excellent.
It was a thrill ride.
4 3/4 stars. And
wow.
Yes, I am docking at that 1 quarter because 2.01.
Yeah, you know, I'm giving it 4.5. 4.5 because I knocked it down because, number one, I'm still annoyed that Bronson Steiner's being pushed down my gullet. Why don't you shove him down my trachea even more, Vince? You know, he's great in the ring, but it's kind of annoying. And number two, like, 2.01. So
you could look at it on the positive side and say, hey, they're trying to push all of these new stars. Why would they lose if they're being put in this main event spot? How else are these guys going to get pushed if they don't beat some of the veterans?
Right.
I get that. But at the same time, this felt like this was the final nail in the coffin for all of the work that Triple H put into this brand for the past 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
It really felt like that.
Mm-hmm. It really felt like, you know, it's annoying.
Look through all the years. The Kevin Owens, the Sami Zayns, the Pacs, the Samoa Joes, the Shinsuke Nakamuras, the Robert Roods, the Malachi Blacks, the Andrades, the Drew McIntyres, the Killer Crosses, even the Keith Lees, all of those people.
The Adam Coles, the Undisputed.
The Adam Coles, the Garganos, the Ciampas, the AOPs, the FTRs, the Ricochets. Hell, I'll even say the Velveteen Dreams.
Yep.
It's like,
I was just thinking
all that work is gone.
The Finn Balor's. The Finn Balor's.
The Finn Balor's.
Hideo Itami's. The God.
Yep.
You know, it's just
the list goes on and on. The Leo Rushes, the Tony Neses, the TJPs.
Was TJ
the Cedric Alexanders.
Yeah.
The Brian Kendricks.
God,
so
it just feels like Vince just erasing all of Triple H's work, you know? It's all of Triple H's hard work to give the fans what they want, and then Vince is like, I don't like the fans. I'm gonna push Scott Steiner's nephew down your throat now. You know, it's
even though he has some potential.
He really does. I'm not
some
saying
of these guys really do have the potential.
Yeah, Bronson Steiner, Carmelo Hayes, you know, those guys legitimately have potential. Hell, I'll even say Duke Hudson in there because I do like the gimmick that he has, and I think he has a nice look. But, you know, Von Wagner, I don't want to freaking see a Von Wagner match at WrestleMania. I don't want to see freaking, God, what's his guts? I don't want to see Grayson Waller at WrestleMania right now. Like, give these guys...
I don't want to see Briggs and Jensen.
Yeah, I don't want to see Draco
I don't like
Anthony
that fucking
right now.
Lash legend they have doing the talk show thing. Lash. There's a guy on Raw named Lashley. How are you gonna get around that?
Yeah, but 4.5-star match. I mean, if I'm being really nice about TakeOver, or it's not even TakeOver, NXT War Games. You know, really thinking about it, the wrestling on this show was too good for me to not give it a 7. But like, if I'm being realistic, it's probably 6.75 for me. I was like a little sad watching this show, but the wrestling, I feel
want to
like
rate it that low.
Yeah,
I think I can give it like a 7.25.
Okay.
For the War Games matches mostly, and the tag team title match. But this didn't have the same, except for the main event, this didn't have the same magic.
No.
That the NXT takeovers are supposed to have.
Not
and all of those guys I just named. And, you know, I'll even throw some ladies in there for you know, extra added fluff. The
Asuka, Bailey, Shayna Baszler's. Yeah, the Charlotte Flairs.
The Mia Yims. The Charlotte Flairs. The Mia
Becky
Yims.
Lynch's.
The Bianca Belairs.
Yeah.
You know, the magic wasn't there.
Yeah.
And if you take out the possibility of me seeing a Shinsuke Nakamura versus a Sami Zayn, hell, an Austin Aries versus No Way Jose. If you take out, you know, you know, like those magic matches, the Malachi Blacks versus the Velveteen Dreams,
the Malachi
Ricochet versus Adam Cole,
the Ricochet versus Johnny Gargano, the Malachi Black versus Johnny Gargano, the Malachi Black versus Tommaso Ciampa. See where we're going here? This NXT is not doing it for me.
Like, it's not. And a lot of it does have to do that WWE's not going to sign these famous indie names.
No.
Because that's what got the crowd to pop.
Like, Jay Lethal would have been a perfect fit in NXT, but Vince McMahon does not want to sign people like Jay Lethal anymore. So, and that's a damn shame.
And it's going to crash on them.
Yeah. I
This
hope
idea is going to crash on them.
I can't fucking wait for it to come back and bite Vince in the ass one of these days. But,
yeah.
You know, in any case,
I don't root for these guys as failures.
No.
I don't root for these guys' failures. I root for Vince's failure.
It's only a matter of time before he, before he fails ultimately. But in any sense, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for sticking with us. Tomas, thank you for sticking with me. Despite the recovery, I really do appreciate you guys all together. And hit that subscribe button if you're new here, as well as that thumbs up. It would really mean a ton. But still a lot of wrestling content to look forward to. We will be discussing Armageddon 2000 very, very soon, as you guys voted in. Thank you to everybody who participated. I'm looking to cover Winter is Coming. I don't know if I don't know if you guys would be interested in that, but I'm certainly interested in talking about Hangman Page versus Bryan Danielson for the world title. You've also got Vengeance 2003 continuing our retro, so lots of exciting stuff to look forward to. I've got the cinema reviews happening as well. But with all that being said, guys, commence that back talk and see you for the next one.